In this program, using the getChar method to clear out the buffer stream and scanf, we're going to write a simple program to ensure that the user only enters in an integer value. First, let's start off by writing int value. This is going to be the value of the integer we want to store. Now we're going to do char new line. Let's use this to determine if the user entered a new line after the number they entered. Next, what we want to do is write do while. We'll leave this empty for now. So here, let's write scanf, and we're going to look for a %d and a %c. And here, we're going to store those in our ampersand value and ampersand new line. For the while loop logic, we want to keep running it while a new line is not equal to the new line character. If new line is equal to anything else other than a new line, then we're going to keep running the loop over and over again because that means we don't have a whole number. This format can take many things. For example, it could be any number and then a decimal. And if we have that decimal, we want it to run again. So what will happen is we would take in the number value, and then decimal would get stored in new line. And then new line is not equal to new line, which is true. So the loop will run again, and then it'll ask the user for another number. Now let's just write printf, and we'll say your number, and we'll do %d, and we'll write out value. So first, let's just quickly run it. We didn't add a prompt, so let's do that before we run it. Actually, we'll say printf. Let's actually write the printf in our do while loop. We'll say enter a whole number. So let's do Control F. So here, let's enter in a whole number. So let's do 100. This should allow the loop to pass and not repeat itself. It's going to capture a new line in this new line character, and then it should break the loop and say your number and then the number we entered. Let's do 100. Perfect. If we rerun it again and we do 100.5, as you can see, we have a bit of an error here. It says enter whole number. We enter it in. But then when it runs again, it's going to capture the 5 and the new line that are here because we didn't clear the input stream. So it skips the scanf the next time and just grabs 5 and our new line and says your number is 5. So what we need to do is we need to clear out that input stream. So here, let's add the same code we used before, make a while loop, and we'll say while getChar is not equal to a new line, and then we just do nothing basically. Let's do Control F5. Let's do that again, 100.5. This time it should stop and ask us for another whole number, which it does. And then if we just put wrong stuff, it'll keep asking us until we enter the whole number. So we'll do 55. Now we have another error. Because there's nothing in the input stream, getChar is trying to get something that's not there. So now we have another error. Because we have %d and char, this char already grabbed the new line. So there's nothing left in our input stream. So now getChar is waiting for an input when there should have already been something there. So to skip by this error in the console, we can just press enter again, and we'll feed it another new line character. So to fix this error, what we're going to want to do is wrap this in a conditional statement. So what that means is we're going to write if, and then some logic will go in here to say if this code should run or not, and then our parentheses of what actually goes inside this little block. So let's put the code in here. And now let's write new line is not equal to a new line. Run this code. But if it is equal to a new line, it'll skip this, and this will break, and then it'll print our number. Let's save it. Let's run it one more time just to ensure that the program is working properly now. Let's write enter a whole number. Let's do 44 and then just a decimal point. So this is not going to allow us to continue on. Then let's write ABC. Let's add a bunch of numbers. And now let's write our actual numbers. Do 55. Your number was 55. The new if statement we added prevented the getChar from running prematurely, and it allowed us to go through the program, make sure all the right conditions were hit, and then print out the value we got from the user. This code can be used in any program. All this does is it ensures that whatever we get from the user, it's always a whole number. One extra thing, let's put a breakpoint over this, and let's just do F5 to run the debugger. So I'm going to enter in a bad value, and I'm going to show you how this works. So let's do 55.12. So when we hit this line, %d should grab 55, %c should get the point, and then 1 and 2 and this new line character should still be in the input stream. So when we hit this line here in the debugger statement, we're going to see it's going to run 3 times to grab the 1, the 2, and the new line. And then it'll break and go back around. So let's do that. Let's press enter, and it stopped at our breakpoint. So let's press over. Step over one more time, and then step over one more time, which is going to be the 3rd time, which will grab our blank line. And then you can see that new line, what is new line currently equal to? New line is equal to a period right now. So period is not equal to new line. So we're going to skip that, and we're going to go back to the top, and then step over again. And now let's enter 55. And now if we press enter, as you can see, it's going to skip over this logic here in the if statement, right down to the while. This is going to be false, so it's going to break out of the loop, and then print out the value. Your number is 55. So that's a more in-depth view of how this program works.